What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How are y'all doing? So first up, I just want to quickly do a little bit of an apology. If you hear a weird crunching sound in this video at any time, this guy down here is to blame. Ryder, hello? He's not listening. He's crunching on a bone, and I need to get this. I want to really shoot this video, so it is what it is. So, FanFest. Finished up this weekend, announced a ton of new stuff, ton of new things, big changes, all the rest of it. But one of the big hype things is obviously going to be the new jobs that are coming with the new expansion. And it got me thinking, like, okay, like what could these jobs be? Like, we know it's a tank, we know it's a range physical range DPS, which I'm really excited about that last one because that's my main. Like, what could we be? What could it be? Like, let's brainstorm. Let's get into this. So I thought, hey, let's do a video about it. Let's have a look. Let's I can brainstorm a little bit. You guys can in the comments can give what you think is a thing. So let's do it. Let's do it. So tank would be the first one to go to because that one I think got the most hints throughout the entire FanFest. From what I can tell, it got 2 hints on the first day. I don't know entirely about the second day, but they definitely got 2 hints on the first day. At least as far as we can tell. I know one for definite, sure, but there's another one that could, you never know on how you could interpret it. And I think the tank class is the one that's going to be announced in Berlin, in the Berlin FanFest. So it's logical that you would give the most hints to this one first, and then we'll get more hints about the second one in FanFest. So tank. The 2 hints that we got was one was Yoshi P's t-shirt that he was wearing. For those who don't know, the FanFest leading up to a new expansion, when they're announcing new jobs, Yoshi P generally wears something either underneath or he just wears something that gives a hint to one of the new jobs. That's what he does. Sometimes they're really on the nose. Sometimes they are a little obscure. So for the tank, so he was wearing a t-shirt that was look who's back, and it's like I think it's like Ritian Vas Avina. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry if I really just messed up that name, but it's a Garlean name. He was one of the first Garlean bosses that you fight in Realm Reborn. And like, if you take it on face value for that, it's related to the tank class, like, because he was the tank of the group. And the second one was in the dev update, and they were talking about that dev update, not the dev update, the dev panel about the new battle system that's coming. And it was something that was to do with the tanks. And in a graphic, it had that this new tank was going to be alongside Paladin as one of the sort of main tanks that are all about defense and countering enemies and stuff. I'm going to make a video on that with the new battle system, because I think that's going to be super important for the future of 14 coming. Like, honestly, I think for all the expansions coming, this new battle system is going to affect all of that. So I really want to do a video on that. But I thought we'll do something fun right off the bat and do the classes. So we know this tank is going to be super defensive and like more like Paladin, less like Warrior and stuff. That's more about regenerating health. This one is more about just negating that damage. And we know, and then if you link it to the t-shirt, maybe it's something to do with what weapons that he Rattan, I think Ratian. I'm really sorry. He was a dual shield user that had like Magitek all in it, and that was his weapons, and it's badass as hell. So let's just go straight off the bat with that one. I think my personal hope, and also what I think is going to come, is that we're getting a dual shield user. Whether it's going to have Magitek in it, I don't know. But I think dual shield user, really, really cool. I think it really plays into the role fantasy. Like, when you're playing a tank, you're protecting the party. There's something badass about sitting there with 2 massive shields. Like, that's a tank. Like, and I think that's something that's lacking in the tank lineup that we have right now. Like, the only one that you can like really look at and go, yeah, that's the tank, is the Paladin, right? Because like shield, sword, very basic tank. Like, that's just you like very like stock standard tank. Warrior Dark Knight and Gunbreaker, you could see them as DPSs. You could see them as DPSs, honestly. So I think for me, dual shield using, whether it has Magitek or not, but like blades, if it has got Magitek, you could use that as like the range pull. You can use it as an AoE, like maybe, or like even like you shoot it upwards and then like almost like a rain of arrows and just boom, 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 like blasting, like spin around with it. And like I just think there's so much cool potential with that. Like you can also use like stick them in the ground and like a big defensive wall comes up, kind of like what Paladin does. Like it just plays into that role fantasy so well. And I think like if you do incorporate Magitek and you do incorporate the cannons and things like that, then you can have that you learn it from the Garleans and stuff, which would be really, really cool. And that brings them into that alliance that we're building with all these nations that we've helped. So that's one. I think that is the main one. I think anything after that, I think we're starting to mix with other classes, which could be dangerous. That one is the most away from everything else. Second one I'm thinking is basically a giant Warhammer one. We've all been like, where's the Warhammers? Where's the giant hammers? Like, why aren't Warrior getting hammers? I think we've had one hammer, and I think it was the was it Shadowbringers? I think Shadowbringers had it for one of the Savage Raid ones. I think it was a Savage Raid thing. I'm not entirely, I can't remember right off the bat. But we have had one hammer. There may have been others. I'm not a warrior main, so I don't know. But like I'm thinking like real slow, bam sort of thing, like big AoE effects, like real slow moving, because he is a defensive type first, right? Because if you go into more like the warrior style, then you're mixing with warrior too much. Then you're not really a full defensive tank. So the Warhammer, like the giant hammer one, I'm a little less on, because I think that we already have something like that. And if you're doing that, I'd rather just give the big hammers to warrior. Give big hammers to warrior, man. Like let's just let them have it, because they're so suited for it. Warrior's sick to play, and their animations play into that. So for me, I think it's not obvious. I don't think it's like, I just don't think it's going to be a thing. And then the third one, and this is a really long shot, but like playing into the theme of the expansion, like maybe something like a Frost Knight, like a Runic Knight, something that like plays into this, you know, elemental side of it. It would be kind of similar to Dark Knight, I think. We haven't really gone into anything that's like elemental, and obviously you've got like Blizzard and Fire and all that for spells, but we haven't had like a job that's based around an element. I think it's a far-fetched one. I'm not big on that one, I think. And then you could obviously go into something that's like a Viking dual axes or something. But again, you're going into things that we already have, and I think you want to create one that has its own separate style. And I think the dual shields, like name it like Warden or Bastion, or just something that's like tank, and you know it's a tank, and like when you see them all lined up, you're like, oh, that's a tank right there. So for me, dual shields I think is the way to go. Second one, physical range DPS. My personal favorite one, I'm really looking forward to. The one, if this job looks really cool, I may actually do something that I have not done before, is that playing the new class through the new expansion, which I've not done. Like level it up, then play the new expansion. Not done that before. Not even with Dancer. Like Dancer's my main at the moment, but I was Bard before that. So I played Bard through Shadowbringers, and then I learned Dancer after that. So for me, you look at the physical range lineup. It's two buffing types with Bard and Dancer, so you don't really want to go into the buffing. And then you have more like focused DPS with Machinist. For me, I think starting off the bat, you're going into, I think you got to stick with the more like focused DPS stuff, especially like they're making some changes to how like party-wide things are going, and that'll be in another video. I think first up, you got to look at something like Gunslinger, right? Like dual pistols, very mobile, dashes, very showy, very aerobatic. Um, those who know League of Legends, think Lucian. Think like Lucian, right? Like dashing around, like unloading, bang, 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 bang. Swartor fans, if you remember Smuggler, like I think there's a gunslinger type with that. You can imagine like, you know, AoE, like bam, 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 like going in a circle would be super cool. I think something like that, that's very showy, very cool. I think that's like something that you can kind of really push in the promotion stuff for the expansion as well. So something like that. Um, the next thing I would say potentially go something that kind of leans into the style of the actual expansion, something like Ranger, which could be more of like a control type thing, which is like they use a crossbow, like big crossbow, so a bit slower shooting, and they could use something like traps that like debuff, so a debuff type thing, dots, things like that. Spikes, like maybe they use the wild in some shape or form, like they can call animals or something. So it gives you that kind of hunter sort of thing, but you know, it's still not an actual hunter like from WoW. If they want to give us an animal companion, and like even though we couldn't change it, like now that we've got Beast Tamer, like I'm all down for like a hunter with an animal. Like that'd be sick. Then you could kind of combine the two. You could kind of combine these two and do something like, instead of, you don't want to use dual guns for the gunslinger, you could do something like, I don't know, like I don't know if Slayer is a Final Fantasy job or anything, but like something like a Slayer, or I don't know what you want to call it, but like crossbows, dual crossbows. I think it was in Diablo. I think this was kind of a thing. I just remember playing one in Heroes of the Storm, like Vala, something like that. And she's like, bah, 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 and she dashes, sends the arrows everywhere, like that sort of thing. I think maybe like a dual crossbow type. And then if you wanted to add in a little bit of the ice stuff, you can maybe add in an element sort of thing. Like maybe it's like an ice ranger, like a frost ranger or something like that. For me, I reckon my favorite out of those three would probably be the gunslinger. I think something to do with that. I know the guns are linked to the machinist side, but for me, the machinist, I don't see the machinist based around the gun. I see the machinist based around the gadgets that the machinist use. The gun is just kind of his just standard attacks. If the gunslinger would be all about the guns, all about the guns, all about the maneuverability, like really like darting around the battlefield. Like I think that would be like super super cool. So yeah, I think for me, for the tank, I think you were going dual shields. Dual shields go into that heavy tank feeling, really play into that tank fantasy. And then for the physical range DPS, I got to go with something like a gunslinger. Dual pistols, like really, really mobile, and really make it showy. So kind of like what Viper was for Dawn Trail, or Reaper was for Endwalker. It's the showy one. It's the showy, like probably the one that everyone is gonna play. Everyone is gonna fill dungeon queues with. Everyone's gonna fill the roulettes with, and that's all you're gonna see for like 2 weeks. That's just what I'm thinking. All right, but hey, any like interesting concepts, any interesting like ideas, please put them in the comments. I absolutely read them. Thank you very much for all your nice comments on the previous videos and like the views and stuff, guys. It's awesome. Like I've been away for so long, I expected nothing. So I really appreciate everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the kind words, and it's good to be back. So we will have more and more content out for leading up to Evercold, and like throughout the year and stuff. And I want to make this more of a regular thing and really get back into YouTube. So thank you very much. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye.